In this episode, we're diving into the world of short-term or vacation rentals. From guest behaviors that frustrate hosts, like not reading any of the booking instructions and foul play in the review section, all the way up to mix-ups and hiccups, like what might cause a unit to not be ready on time, or why hosts don't play about every single coin they need to collect. Whether you're a host, owner, or manager wondering if you're alone in your struggles, or a traveler looking for tips to make your stay smoother, this is one conversation you won't want to miss. When are you coming home? To help us navigate this, I'm joined by the incredible Brittany Moore. Brittany is a powerhouse entrepreneur with multiple degrees in business and a diverse portfolio of property investments, including both short-term and long-term rentals across the country. But she doesn't just manage properties. She's also an avid traveler, constantly exploring new destinations for both business and leisure. This unique perspective gives her insight from both the guest and the host side of the experience. Beyond real estate, she and her husband are the visionary duo behind a media production company where they bring stories to life through film, music, and creative magic. So without further ado, Brittany, welcome to Behind the Service. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for that beautiful intro.
Of course. I hope I did you some justice. Obviously, we can't go into your full resume, but you do a lot.
It's perfect. Yes, thank you. And I'm ready to talk. Let's talk.
Okay, let's talk. Let's get right into it. My first question, because I know we're going to do a lot of conversation about like a lot of the stresses that people don't see. So before we get into it, what even inspired you to start investing in short-term rentals in the first place?
I honestly, well, there are a few things. I guess mainly, you mentioned that I travel a lot. I am a traveler. I love to travel worldwide, me and my husband, and going to visiting different places. I admire Airbnbs. I really do. It's a different experience beyond just the regular hotel industry, just being in hotel rooms and stuff. There have been times where there's been a bigger demand for us where we need a kitchen or we need, more space or we want to indulge in the culture of the places that we're visiting. And so that really inspired us. Being a finance major in college, and just even prior to that, me really being a financial type of person and have that mindset, diversification is very important to me for my financial portfolio. So when we began to start acquiring property and add that into our portfolio, it was like, I don't think it's wise to just have long-term rentals. Long-term rental properties just as a whole. If we have properties in different, especially like one is in Florida, one is in Ohio being pretty much like very small town in Ohio compared to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida specifically, where you have a lot of tourists and stuff. So diversification is important when it comes to the financial side of things. And so having a vacation rental and also have being able to balance that out with long-term rentals, that was very important to us. So I would say that has a lot to do with our decision to get into doing Airbnbs and stuff.
Okay, great. What is it that you feel like people don't know about the experience of hosting, owning, or managing like lodging operations in general? So that can be just anywhere that people stay. Because I know you're, taking care of long-term rentals somewhere else and you're taking care of short-term rentals somewhere else. What is it that you feel like either that that other people don't know because you've been talking to people and they're like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Or things that you found out once you started investing and getting into the operations portion?
Well, I honestly would say this is actually just from my perspective personally. What I assume, so I could be wrong, but from my assumptions, and I always talk about this with my husband. I feel like, and also from me being on the other side of things, like when I was younger, before I was able to get into the business side, when I was just a tenant or just a guest and things like that, how my mindset was at in those times at that point in time. And I just remember being one of those people who were like very not understanding. Now that I'm on the opposite side of things, I was the type of person like you would say, Courtney being my sister, she's just like, y'all are aggravating people who want to check in early. And it's like, we have so much going on behind the scenes. We can't possibly let you check in early. We're trying to prep the unit for you. And you're not understanding that as just a guest who doesn't have the experience of being on the business side of things. You're like, I'm on vacation. I pay my money. You think paying all of this money. And so you deserve or you're entitled to being able to check in early because why not? You're not understanding what's going on behind the scenes. And so it's a very selfish thing, but you're not trying to be selfish because you just don't know. And so I just know that when it comes to short term, like vacation stays, even long term rentals as a renter prior to owning property, a lot of time, oftentimes, I would feel like these people are making so much money. I'm paying so much. To me, what is so much money? But once you're on the business side of things, you're not understanding how much it's being taken out. Like you're thinking, oh, y'all property owners, y'all are making all this money. I just paid $1,000. I'm not getting $1,000. I'm probably getting half of that. You know what I mean? Like I have to pay property tax. I have to pay workers. Co-hosts are taking their fees. The Airbnb service is taking a fee out. The IRS and the state of Florida is taking a tax fee out. The vacation license that you have to pay for, they're taking a piece out. Um, you have to pay for the utilities that guests are constantly using. And that's one thing that me as a guest didn't understand either. Oh, utilities are included. I paid for this. So I'm running the air all day long
All
while
day.
I'm, and you're not thinking that this is running these people's bill up. So the money that you think they're getting, they're not getting it because they have to now pay so much extra for not only the utilities that you just ran up, the electric bill you just ran up. Now they have to pay extra too because you wanted to bring your kids on vacation and let them run around and mess everything up, and now I have to pay for damages, and
Mm-hmm.
and then you're upset if I try to bill you for it, and I'm trying to be hospitable and understanding, so I'm charging you tremendously less than what it actually costs for me to have to make this repair. So at the end of the day, I'm doing all this hard work. I'm stressed. It's the holidays. I'm not enjoying my holidays because I'm trying to make y'all happy. And you're not being considerate and thinking of me. And now I got to pay out of pocket some extra stuff. It's just guests don't understand. I remember also being in a meeting with a group of people, an organization that I was trying to support. And I kind of felt uncomfortable because they were just like tenant rights, and all these landlords are so horrible. And I'm sitting there like y'all don't understand about landlord rights, owner rights, because nobody cares about
Right?
us. Nobody sees what we're going through. Nobody understands. Like you think you paying all this rent, you have no idea how much I have to pay for, and I'm not getting that much. And I still have to pay my bills, and I still got to feed. Well, I don't have kids, but if I were to have kids, I still have to feed my kids, and I still have to pay for my life. And you're taking away from that. You're withholding rent, or you're not paying rent, or you're running the bill up at the vacation stay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like, please be more understanding because we have lives too. We have bills to pay too, and we're not making that much. Like I used to think, I'm like, y'all are making all this
Yeah.
money. No, 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 no,
And
no.
then swear you have more right to something that don't belong to you. Like you're renting it. You are
And
paying to temporarily live into something that the day that you decide to wake up and leave, it is still mine. Because it brings me to my next question. I follow a lot of hospitality forums. As you know, I have a kind of a lengthy background in just hospitality in general. And I've heard people say this, and it gets under my skin. It's a certain type of people that say this. I feel like these are very selfish people to say this statement. And tell me, what would your response be to this statement? When you hear someone like you or myself, not really complaining, but just like venting, or maybe shoot, we complaining. Yes, because we have the right to do so. It is frustrating. There are pros and cons to everything. We may love our jobs and we put in a lot of work for it, but being in the industry of serving people in general, when it comes to service, you got your cons. And when we express those cons, I've seen and read and heard people say like, well, you signed up for it. You know that's the industry. You know how people are. You've seen heard other people complain about it, and you went. That's a job you signed up for. So what you complaining about? What would your response be to
I
those people?
think I think my initial response would be, I had no idea that people were this inconsiderate. I really did not. Like, I have been shocked at the experiences that I have had with guests after I put in my I mean, hard work. If people could see before and after pictures of the places that we have renovated and the amount of time and energy and money we put into it and the amount of care and how excited we are to share this space and all this hard work with you, the shopping that we're doing, and we're buying this cute little nice little gold side table, and then the very first guest you come in and it's marked up and it or it's broken, and it's like, I don't understand. I never would have anticipated people being as inconsiderate as I have experienced. And that's the truth. So you're absolutely right. You signed up for it. I had no idea, and once you're in it, it's like, but then it's also like there are always pros and cons. There are always
Yeah.
very nice guests. There's always moments where you feel fulfilled. You you enjoy, you actually have a kind guest and a considerate guest who praises you and who appreciates what you've done and
Mm-hmm.
who acknowledges your efforts, or how, oh, this place is so nice, y'all keep y'all place so nice, and so that makes you feel good and it warms your heart too. So it's just those specific people, you're just inconsiderate and selfish. And if you know that you're like that, you don't need to go to people's nice places.
Thank you. That's my response. That's my response. If you think that I shouldn't complain and just deal with the foolishness, that immediately tells me that you're the foolishness. And now that you know I'm complaining, don't come to my establishment because
Don't come.
don't come. Because
And then
you telling me you can't show up and be decent, you just refuse to, then
yeah,
don't.
why are you finding the nicest place you can find with the highest ratings and the prettiest pictures to go mess up? You know you're going to mess it up. Go to the raggedy spot.
Mhm.
And then that kind of brings me to, I mean, it's kind of like an off point, but it kind of reminds me of a point that I did want to bring up. And maybe I'm being a little insensitive because I don't have kids yet. So I apologize in advance to those who have kids, but kids get on my nerves. People with their kids get on my nerves because, for example, my experience with people's kids and coming into my place damaged because you let your kids rip paint and put holes in the door, take a marker and mark on everything, sheets, walls, tape, everything. And why, I don't understand why you're doing that, but it brings me to a point that I wanted to bring up. I was reading an article that popped up in my phone, and it was talking about a lady suing Airbnb because a host didn't want to accept her request because she has kids, and that's discrimination.
No, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, my thing is, why do you want to stay at a place where you're not wanted?
Where your
If
children
they
aren't
don't,
wanted. Yeah.
if they don't want your kids there, how dare you try to force them to accept you with your kids and then try to sue for that? Go somewhere else. Go find another place. Like, why are you forcing people? And how are you not being understanding? Maybe you think your kids are angels, but everybody who comes to my place with kids, something is broken or damaged. And you have to be understanding of that. Sorry, you have kids. I'm so sorry. But I don't have to deal with your kids because you have kids. Like, I just really want guests to understand that. Because you have kids, that is not my problem. It is not my duty to accept you and your kids the way that you want to allow your kids to be.
That this is what really bothers me. The moment that you have to submit a request for everything except the possibility of a denial. If you had to ask for it, how dare you sue somebody because they said no? You're not entitled to it. You know you wasn't entitled to it because you had to request it.
And then when I said no, you want to sue. And I'm glad you brought up the pet thing. I just put that out of my mind because my listings say no pets, but people have
That's a whole nother episode,
that's a
Britt.
whole other. But statistics and studies in my research, when it comes to adjusting the pricing on specifically Airbnb, I have read everywhere that people don't like high cleaning fees. So even though it costs over $100 minimum, not $110 minimum, because you got to pay the fee anyway. You have cleaners who are charging $150 to clean, and I have to keep the cleaning fee under $80 to be attractive to guests. And then you want to bring a pet in who leaves extra stuff, smell, hair, damages, pee, all kind of things that take so much extra time to clean, and y'all don't want to pay for it.
And let's not only just think about the cleaners that it impacts, because I've seen it from the housekeeping perspective, it severely impacts the cleaners. But let's think about the liabilities that it has on the next guest. Cleaners,
Yes.
as professional as you can be, we're human. We might miss a strand, right? Pet dander is an allergen. People are allergic to pet dander. And you wanted to sneak your pet in despite my request to not do so. I have now paid a cleaner to clean and probably extra fees to get out smells, to get out stains. I probably did a whole carpet cleaning. I had to do a whole whatever, get out hair from everything and hire a special service to come and completely detox the process. And then God forbid, none of that, all of that effort went into all that money and everything. You didn't pay any extra because you snuck and lied and said that you didn't have a pet here. And now another guest comes and checks in
Who's
who is decent
allergic?
and kind and they allergic. So I know you don't care about me. I know you think I'm just being difficult. I know you don't care about the property because it's not yours. Can you care about somebody else but yourself?
Yeah.
Somebody. Oh, girl, how we get into pets? And I don't even want to start on kids. Can you give us some backstory for everybody that doesn't know? Can you give us? You don't have to say specific guest names, but like, what exactly happened? When did the guest? For how long did the guest book? What was the review that was left, and what took place after that?
I think the guest booked for 4 nights. I think it was her and her husband, and they were not black people, which I understand. But we've had many guests who are of all different races and cultures and things like that. So I wasn't expecting this at all, but I guess she was uncomfortable um, without us knowing. So she was supposed to stay 4 nights. When we finally received the review, which was like maybe a week later, because I think Airbnb holds on to it until you review them or something like that. So we found out maybe like a week later after her checkout date that, oh, 1 star, which put us in a very bad position because if you get a 1 star Airbnb, it's like you're in you're in violation or you're on the brinks of being your listing being taken down because they don't tolerate 1 stars. And so we read the review and we're like, 1 star after we gave her a great star rating. We're thinking when she checked out and we had our cleaner going there, we were like, oh, everything was so great. This was the easiest clean, thinking that she was just a great guest. You find out when you read the review that, oh, it was so clean and not really much to clean or do because she left the first after the first night because she felt like she was unsafe. And so it was just shocking because it was like we had no idea. You didn't say anything to us. You just gave us a 1 star because you felt unsafe and you and your husband decided you wanted to leave this area because you can't believe, I don't know, the location, I guess. It is an urban area, but it's not deep in a neighborhood or anything like that. It is on a, how do you describe it? It's literally right by the highway. Their business is literally right. on the same block and across the street. There's a gas station across the street. There's a corner store uh, right next door of the house that's right next to this building. The driveway is a big, huge open lot right in the front, facing an open, busy street. It's not like in a neighborhood, so it's open there. There's a police officer who literally lives right next door. You see his JSO, his cop car there oftentimes. There's open lots. There's a neighbor across the street who keeps their house really nice and cute. And so I understand, like, across the street at the gas station, oftentimes there are older black men who sit there and they drink their beer and they might play music a little loud on maybe the weekends or something, and they laugh and they talk. Some people are uncomfortable with that, which is very understanding. If you would have brought that to our attention, maybe we would have been understanding of your concern. Maybe we could have offered you a peace of mind in some kind of way. We even could have possibly negotiated giving you your money back and letting you leave without feeling like you paid for 4 nights and you only stayed one and now you're upset. You know what I mean? You didn't communicate anything at all. But then you say that you're also adding to the 1 star that there was no communication with the host and the hosts were not responsive. There are no messages from you. We were completely unaware that you were uncomfortable in any way, that you had even left early. We had no idea until we saw this 1 star review. But then everything else that you're rating, there's so on Airbnb, you rate the cleanliness, you rate the whatever all the little listings are. And it's 5 star, it was very clean. It's 5 star, the place was very cute. It's 5 star, everything was as listed. Check-in was easy, no issues. Everything is how it's supposed to be. But because it's some black people across the street at the gas station laughing a little bit too loud, you felt unsafe. And now we, as hosts who cannot control what's going on outside at all, that has nothing to do with us or our property, we deserve a 1 star because you put in your mind that you were unsafe because you're around some black people. You have read all these other reviews, all these previous guest reviews, hundreds of other people before you, uh, white people, black people, Hispanic people, Indian people, people from different countries, foreigners, people from Switzerland, all French people, everybody you who came before you, you're reading their reviews, and a lot of them are saying, oh, the location outside is not really what we were expecting, but once you're inside it's so safe, it's so, you feel completely different, such a great experience. And they survived. They're okay. They survived to leave a good comment and how great of an experience it was, and how the complete opposite of what they expected when they got to the area it was, when their experience was once they were inside, and they completely enjoyed their stays, long term, short term. Nothing happened to these people, they're perfectly fine. If they survived and had a great time, why do you think you're any different? Why do you think someone's going to target you? What's special about you that these black men across the street going to be worried about you? Nobody's even paying attention to you. So I want to bring to people's attention, when I say don't judge a book by its cover, you feel like if you're the type of person who's a bit more uppity than the norm, well, go to one of these, go something. But I just want to let y'all share a
They
story with
can't afford it.
that. But on top of that, the ones who can afford it, who have gone there, for example, I've had dinner at downtown in Jacksonville, which is literally like a 5 minute drive from my Airbnb. It's literally just a 5 minute max, I think 3 to 5 minute drive. It's right in the area. It's just on the opposite side of the highway, right? At this specific, that's where all the big people go when they come to Jacksonville, and they want to stay near the downtown area, the riverside area where the river is, and they're gentrifying the area and all that stuff. So I've met celebrities there and had dinner with them. I have met big attorneys there and had dinner with them. Very rich people I've met there, and they all stay, when they come into town, they stay specifically at that same exact, right? One of these high high-end, high people of importance who stayed there and spent all of their money while they were staying there, they had a really unsafe experience there.
I bet they did. What's
They
unsafer than downtown?
they had a shootout happen at this expensive, fancy, safe hotel, and they were running for their lives. Okay? That has never happened at my Airbnb. Before this was my Airbnb, it was a property owned by my family, my parents. My sisters were raised there. Nothing has ever happened at that place to that name, okay? But you're afraid and concerned for your safety at a place that is way safer than something very expensive and pricey and uppity and bougie. So please stop doing that. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Read the reviews. Look at the location. You can see where the Airbnb, what area it's in. And just don't
Mhm.
stay there if you know you have an issue with those types of areas or those types of people. That's not fair to do. That's very mean for you to lie and say that you were unsafe and give a 1 star and type all this up and make and scare our other guests, our other potential guests, and make them believe that this is an unsafe place. That's not fair.
One big portion, like you said, that the main point that isn't fair is the foul play in the comment section or in the review section because you're affecting livelihoods at this point. The Your preferences, they matter. That's why you get the choices. You don't go to a booking site and say I need somewhere to stay and the booking site gives you somewhere and that's just where you're forced to stay. You
Right.
have a plethora of options. The moment that you get there and you say this is not exactly what I wanted, you have every right to. Maybe when it comes to, you can be discriminatory, you can be picky, you can literally do whatever you want. You have free will. If you want to wake up every morning and step outside and have coffee on your front porch without having to see the people across the street that you don't like to see, then by all means, you should get that experience for yourself. But that was not asked to you in the comment section of the reviews. So you had to come up with something else to express your frustration in your decisions and affect my livelihood. And that's the part that really bothers me with hospitality and selfish guests. You didn't like how your birthday party turned out. So you rated the hotel bad or you rated the event coordinator bad or something like that. But you didn't like how it turned out because your auntie and your uncle got into it at your birthday party or you booked something wrong and so the caterer showed up and didn't and gave you the order that you ordered but you didn't realize that you ordered wrong or something happened that wasn't directly a result of people serving you improperly, but because you have no other way to get it out, you went and you did foul play in reviews are
Horrible.
it's horrible. It's so selfish. It's so mean. Lying on people is not nice, and you learn that in kindergarten. So what's
And I don't think these people understand how impactful, how these reviews really affect the business.
That's true.
You are dropping our 5 star rating from 5 all the way down to like a 3 because you decided to give us a 1 star for things that you're making up that's not true, and we provided everything the way that we're expected to. You're not understanding that not only are you dropping our rating all the way down, now the algorithm is not going to show our listing like that. Now we're at the bottom. Now when we have other guests who are looking for a place to stay and they come across that and they see your misleading review, they're less likely to book our place. Now we're losing money. Now our reputation is at stake. Now Airbnb is like, what's going on? Why are you making guests unsafe? And it's not even true. And that's not cool at all. That even reminds me of another guest we had. And I think she was kind of bougie on the bougie side too. And when she got to the property, she didn't like the area, which was fine too. She could have just let us know and we could have negotiated. Maybe she could have left. Maybe, we could have worked something out. But instead, she reports to Airbnb behind our backs that she's hearing gunshots. There were fireworks going on downtown. It was during the summer months. And during the summer months in Jacksonville, there are a lot of fireworks, especially in the month of July. She hears the
Obviously.
fireworks. Right. She hears the fireworks and takes it upon herself to take advantage of this opportunity to say, I am scared and I hear gunshots. No, even if you did hear gunshots, if it's way in the far distance, like, why are you making that an issue that's like as if it's happening at our
Yeah.
Airbnb? Not
Like
happening.
somebody standing in the backyard or standing at the door saying, "Let me get in
Yeah,
before
and
I blow your house down."
nothing like that is happening. And you people, I don't know. Maybe she didn't know, but I know the difference between gunshot sound and fireworks sound. Me and my husband stayed at an Airbnb. I think it was in Connecticut, and we literally heard gunshots, and it was in close proximity. It was like probably a few houses down, like it was on the street. But the fact that, and we were like, oh shoot, are we in a bad area? But we didn't feel the need to complain or act like something was happening to us because it wasn't happening at the Airbnb we were at. We were inside, closed doors, locked doors. No one even knows, whoever's shooting doesn't even know that we're there. And so we were understanding, like we would never go back to that place again. But we didn't give those people a bad review for that. We were very understanding because they can't control
They not shooting.
what somebody else is out there doing. They're not the
Yeah.
ones out there shooting. None of their guests are shooting. No one on their property is shooting. Like, we cannot control what the outside world is doing. We
And I
cannot.
bet it's funny because you say it from a host perspective and we're talking about hospitality, but really service in general. I bet the police officers share the same exact sentiment. Like, ma'am, what are we supposed to do about a gunshot you heard that's 5 miles away and probably isn't even a gunshot?
That's what I'm saying.
But they still got to respond.
So I don't know. I just really needed to get it off my chest. You're if you know you're going to say that you feel unsafe, or if you know you're going to feel unsafe in an urban environment, check out the place before, like the location in the area, read the comments, all that stuff, and make your decision from there. Do not leave a one-star review for somebody and not tell them what's going on. I've even had somebody give us well, I guess it wasn't to you, you didn't consider it a low review, but people complain about petty stuff and give you less than a 5 star, like a 4 star rating. I don't like 4 star ratings. That's not good either.
Oh, the 4 star because y'all didn't have a pizza
A
pan?
pizza pan. How am not even just that person gave 4 star for a pizza pan, and right before that person, somebody gave a 4 star because we didn't have. They came for Thanksgiving, and we didn't have enough dishes for them to make a full Thanksgiving meal. How are we supposed to know that a vacation rental needs Thanksgiving type of cookware? Like, we're not. If I'm traveling for Thanksgiving for the holidays, I'm not going to Airbnb to cook. I'm
Mm.
visiting family to go eat with them. I'm eating out, or if I'm planning on cooking, I'm bringing my own stuff. Why do we have to provide all that? Like, we don't know. Tell us. Maybe we would have gotten a co-host to go buy y'all some extra dishes. You didn't even give us a chance. You just left a shockingly bad review because you didn't have a pizza pan, or you didn't have a big enough pan for your turkey. We don't know. We don't know. It in our minds, it's a vacation rental. Not only that, me and my husband, it's just us. When we cook, we only need 2 pots. No, you have to give us a chance to make it right. You have to bring things to people's attention before you just don't say anything. You're silent about it. You're in there upset about something that we have no knowledge of. And then you just give us a bad review. And we find out after the fact, oh, okay, well, let's go buy a pizza pan now. Now the next guest has a pizza pan. You didn't have one, but we're scarred with your bad review because you didn't say anything. While you were there, we could have got to a pizza pan if you needed one that bad. We don't eat pizza. We don't know.
And everybody don't make pizza on no pizza pan. Let me tell you something. You put
Oil,
that
parchment paper,
foil, parchment paper. To be quite honest, Paul,
put it right on the rack.
oh girl, I can't stand it. But he
Can't stand that
put
either.
it's so stupid to me. But puts it right on the rack.
So why,
Done.
how am I supposed to know? And then you're comparing us to the last Airbnb we stayed at had a pizza pan. So y'all get a 4 star because y'all don't have a pizza pan. We're not the last Airbnb. We don't know. You can't compare me to the last Airbnb because we don't have what your last Airbnb had. Now we deserve a 4 star.
That's what's so important when you say, like, that's what I was thinking when you say we're not last Airbnb. Because as you know, I also help with another short-term rental company who have several properties. And their properties span. They have some smaller properties, but they have grand properties, like a really big one that accommodates a family of 12. They have a kitchen with, I've personally unboxed the kitchen with two pot set. Like you order a whole pot set for somebody's Christmas, two of them in that kitchen, multiple boxes of everything. So every single thing you need to host a full party, even a family reunion on that property is there. But that property is probably like $1,200 a night. It also sits on the water and has all, so it's like picking your ice cream flavor. You don't go and order a one scoop of vanilla and say, poor rating, this don't taste like chocolate. Like, hold on.
I'm saying, like, I'm not the last Airbnb.
Yeah, and if the thing is, if you were making those plans and these were important things to you, do your reach. You have the option to reach out to us before you even book. You can say, "Hey, we're looking to." So many people have said, "Hey, we are coming to stay for X reason for X amount of time, and these are the people that I'm bringing. Does your property have X, Y, and Z to be able to accommodate us?"
Exactly.
That is perfect. I can say yes or no, but how dare you go there expecting something that I didn't know you
I
expected?
don't know. Right. So the last thing I want to talk about are, and this isn't the guests, but these are the cleaners, because I'm trying to understand why you guys are taking money and pretending to clean and not cleaning. Just go get another job, because it is the most, to me, you're going out of the way. You're going out of the way to be nasty. I've had a cleaner come in and then you're there all day. How are you taking all day to not clean? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
I can
And
tell you.
okay, well, you can tell me after this. I just want to people shared it. Like, this is what disgusting people are doing. And so when you got people who are like, I want to check in early, or complaining about stuff that you don't know a cleaner is in there, they're doing, these cleaners are doing things like this. Okay, y'all. The lady comes in acting like she's cleaning, and she takes dirty towels, dirty, damp, nasty towels with brown residue on them. They're damp, they smell musky, they have pubic hairs in them. And she takes them with her hands and folds them up and
With her hands.
puts them back into the linen closet for the next guest. How disgusting. I have cleaned units myself, especially when I was first getting started and having to do a lot of the work myself. And I could never pick up and fold a nasty, funky used towel that a man just got done using for a week. I couldn't even fathom putting it back for a guest to use. Like, how dare you do that? How are you capable of doing something like that? And then you're collecting money and lying and acting like it's clean. And so now we have to pay people to come and inspect behind the cleaners. We have to pay the cleaners all this money, and we can't even trust you to do the job. Why are you, why are you applying for this job if you don't even want to, like, that is simple. I can understand if you miss certain things here and there. You don't want to, you don't want to put clean towels in there for the next guest. That is horrible. If our guest came in and we didn't inspect and they pull out a towel, imagine going to a place on your own vacation and you go to take you a shower and you pull out a towel and it's got masculine pubic hairs in it and it smells nasty and it's mildewy and damp with brown stains on it. That is, it's the most disgusting
Just like,
thing.
what is going through your mind when you know that you have a guest how can you be that inconsiderate of a person?
Just managing places. I've literally had housekeepers go like, my previous housekeeping manager ain't never care about this. Like, they didn't care that you didn't use salt.
I don't understand.
How did your previous housekeeping manager become a manager? And why was she admitting to you that she didn't care that it used soap? And why are you proudly admitting that to me? and now you're mad at me because I'm requiring you to use the tools that we had. So yeah, people, it's shocking at the amount of stuff that people are allowed to get away with, and then when they finally reach somebody that requires them to have a certain standard, they be kind of crashing down on you. Then it kind of make you feel like you crazy.
It
Like,
making me think I'm crazy when I'm like, oh, it seemed to me like you want a deep clean. This is not a deep clean.
not a deep clean. I just
Wiping
want it clean.
surfaces are dirty, crumbs, dirty lint. That is not linen. You have to do the lint. You have to clean the towels and the bedding. You're putting on dirty bedding for somebody to sleep in. How dare you do that?
How dare you? How disrespectful, how disgusting. I always say, like, if you don't care about me, cool. Care about the kids. I would I would be upset if I went down if I checked into a hotel or I checked into an Airbnb and my linens were found dirty and I saw, like, shoot, I've even had this conversation with my teams, like, sex stains or something. I'm an adult. I pull back the sheets, I see that, or I feel like I've been laid in that. I'm upset, I'm disgusted. I will go downstairs and handle it. It would be much different. I think I would be heartbroken and sad and feel like I was violated if I laid my babies
Uh-huh.
in a sex stained bed. It's just so much different. I would cry. I would be like at that point it goes so much more beyond just being lazy. Like the 5 minutes it could have took you to do what you needed to do, you decided to opt out for a lazy 2 minutes, and you just destroyed the guest experience. You destroyed the host experience. You destroyed the inspector's experience because the inspector got to inspect it and fix it. You destroyed the owner's reputation. Shoot,
And you stole my money.
yeah.
You stole my money. And then you have these people who just lie and take your money. Yes, I did it. Yes, I cleaned the bedding. Yes. I mean, all the way down to not putting the right size sheet. So you're taking the full size sheet and you're trying to put it on a bigger bed and it doesn't fit. So you just leave it like that with the fitted sheet not on it, just kind of looking like it's on it at the top, and then you cover it up. So now when my guests come, you're taking a picture, snap, and you're sending it to me, making me believe that the bed is made and everything's ready to go. And then when my guests come and they go to bed and they pull the blanket back, the sheet is not doesn't. Why would you do that?
I done had somebody send me a picture of a bed, and I went to the unit myself and walked on the left side of the bed, the whole left side of the bed naked.
Like, why are you guys?
Like, this is childish games. You playing now. Now you playing. This what kids do to pretend they did their homework. This what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you is grown.
That's what I'm saying. And you're lying. You're taking deceptive pictures from angles, making it look
You
like
setting up staging. You doing what people do on set. Like, what are you doing? You
I was
fix
like,
lighting in the room so people can't see the streaks on or the toothpaste stains on the mirror
yeah.
instead of
So,
just clean the
yeah,
toothpaste stain.
you taking a flash, using your flash to take a picture of the tub so it looks clean because it looked real white and bright. And then when you walk in there, it's nasty. I
God, the
can't.
tricks of the trade, baby. So many conversations I've had where it's like, and I've heard it quite often. A lot of people, especially like working in the industry, be like, "Who raised them?" That's the question. Who raised you? Because when I travel, it's not even having to work in the industry. There are certain things that you just do and don't do because you was just raised right.
Right.
You mess up somebody's stuff, you say, "I'm so sorry we did that." Like,
Yes.
I think I should probably sometimes you do it, I don't know, maybe it's a result of having parents that are too strict, but sometimes you go and out yourself at the front desk on purpose because you scared for them to find out. You like, "Imma go tell on myself."
Yes. That's how I am. Like I want you to know.
What did you wish that you knew when you started your short-term rental journey? And what advice would you give to somebody looking into starting theirs?
When you get started, start off with trying to go ahead and start developing a team, starting to find people, a team of cleaners, a team of co-hosts, a team, any type of partnerships you can find. Repairmen, we're still trying to figure out like what to do when we have certain damages that we were just expecting, okay, if we get another co-host, they can do it because that's what we were doing, and that's not true. Like we've had co-hosts, we're still trying to find someone who can do everything that we can do because it's expensive to have to pay so many different people. It's really costly and time consuming. A lot of times we have to block out dates and we're missing money because we can't rent the place out because there are damages that, and we're trying to find somebody who can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
We were just so used to it being us. Like there's no really extra cost other than supplies. There's also no extra time. Like we were doing same day turnovers because we would get up really early if we had to. We would spend a lot of time, energy, and fix it. You have to find a team of individuals who are as similar to you and the way that you want your things to be ran as possible. That's what I would say. Like really, really take time and plan and figure out how exactly you want things to be ran and test drive it, of course, yourself for the first few months or whatever. But once you have your list of things that you need done, okay, I'm the type of person who needs somebody inspecting after each turnover because these cleaners aren't cleaning the way I want clean. I need cleaners who are going to be this detailed and pay attention to things like smell. You have a lot of people who don't pay attention to smell. I pay attention to smell. That is the number one thing for me. That is a big thing for me. If you don't pay attention to smell, I don't want you on my team. So you have to really, really customize your team and find out what exactly you're looking for and take that first year to really, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Curate, like go through these people. Go through them as fast as you can. As soon as you find somebody that's like, oh, you're not like you don't smell, you don't pay attention to crumbs, you don't do laundry or whatever, and that's not what you're looking for, get rid of them, replace them. Because the sooner you develop the team that you need, the easier it's going to be, the less of a headache it's going to be, the better everything's going to run.
My last question is really just the closing questions. Where can listeners follow you or learn more about your properties, your future projects, all of that?
I believe it is airbnb.com/art by trade. I believe. Um,
And
but
if it's not, I'll put it up on the screen.
yeah, so there are three listings. I think it's like Art by Trade 1, Art by Trade 2, Art by Trade 3. Pretty sure. Me personally, just Britt Krishan.
Great,
At
Krishan. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for not only sharing the experiences, but the passion, the drama.
You welcome anytime. And thank you for giving me a platform to vent my frustrations. And I don't want people to think that it's not all bad. Not at all. I'm here venting and complaining about a lot of the complaints that I have, but there are a lot of benefits as well. Airbnb is great compared to like long-term rentals. You can make a lot more money, especially during the holiday seasons. You can make a lot more than you're able to make from long-term rentals, especially depending on where you're located. It's wonderful. Airbnb is a wonderful platform compared to the others that I've tried. They make it very, very easy. You don't have, having to manage the business side of things. They make it very easy, and I really appreciate it. It's not bad at all. It's really actually fun. Got a little app. You can be traveling. You could be handling your business and making your little passive income. So it's pretty good little side hustle to have. So don't think it's all bad. Everything comes with its pros and cons, of course. Any and everything that you ever do. There's always going to be a bad side. There's always going to be a good side. So
Thank you for adding that because quite often I try to sneak that into some of my episodes. Like, we don't hate our jobs. I'm not complaining about hotels. I'm not saying nobody ever be a housekeeper, nobody ever be a manager. Please don't ever serve in the hospitality industry ever. This is just because in hospitality, it's about serving people with a smile. And so if you're always smiling, you never have the space or the opportunity to really talk about what's happening. So this is just a platform to be able to shed the light on those things. But if it really was all bad, we wouldn't be doing it either.
right.
So thank you for
It's
adding that.
yes, thank you too. Thank you for your
Well,
time.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good day.